Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Freeman Files here on the J-Free 906 podcast channel. Tom Burns, Seth Bridges, how you guys doing tonight?
Fantastic.
Doing great.
Oh, man, another great show last night. I thought I was really enjoying it, and we got a lot to talk about on that tonight. This Lot 8 Boulder, I'm telling you, it just keeps getting better and better and more interesting every single episode. Yep. They're probably going to milk it out all the way to the end. You think that's episode 25? I don't know.
That's how you get 3 million viewers a week.
Yeah, I hope so. Like you said, it keeps getting better and better. And I mean, I'm pretty crazy with my speculation, and even I didn't imagine just what we were going to see. Like it's pretty mind blowing, and
it is incredible. I started to speculate today on anyway. You don't want to know.
Huh?
We'll go down a whole new rabbit hole. I get looking at that lot
right out the gate. Let's go down
lot 8 Cradle today. I get looking at that today, and I'm going, oh boy, you know what that is? I'm going, no, I'm not even going to say it. I'm just going to keep it to myself.
Well, we're going to have a lot of fun with that tonight, and we have a special guest. We'll bring her on in here in just a moment. But first, I just want to say thank you, folks, for joining us here tonight. We appreciate it very much. And as I always say, if you haven't already, we'd really love if you would consider subscribing to the channel and click on that notification bell so you know when we have new content coming out. And if you like the content of the show that we do here for you tonight, consider giving us a thumbs up. It always helps. And the comments also in the after show, after we're done being live, that is always helpful as well. If you got anything you want to comment about that you didn't get it on the show here during our live portion, do it then. And Tom and I were always in there trying to get Seth to pop in once in a while and make some comments, because people comment to him.
He's a busy guy.
Yeah, he's a family man and all,
he's
right?
A family man and a business to run. And
right. We also have a giveaway tonight, and this is and I'm wearing my Carmen Leg shirt, Leg Blacksmithing.
Y'all don't want to know my comments. Yeah. No, I'm kidding.
So we got a couple of giveaways. We're going to be doing that a little bit later in the show. So I tell you what, we're going to be talking about the Curse of Oak Island, Season 13, Episode 18, Breaking the Seal. Mm-hmm. And as we get started here, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our very special guest tonight. Let me go ahead and just bring her on. FIONA STEELE. FIONA, how are you?
Hey, I'm great. Good to see you guys.
What, thank you so much. I know I've been quite a pest. I've been called a pest many times, but ever since we had an opportunity to talk and you did your awesome presentation at the Oak Island Convention last year in September, I kind of, we talked a little bit. I said, man, I would just love to have you come on the podcast someday. And you said, oh yeah, I will. And I'm holding you to it. I hope you don't hate me too much, but yeah, thank you.
Once you say that first, yes, it's relentless. Trust me.
I started out talking about Skinwalker Ranch, and now here I am on Oak Island.
Yeah, right. So, all right, folks, I just wanted to say too, real quick, we have FIONA here. FIONA is going to be hanging out with us a little bit. We're not sure how long tonight. She does have some pressing things for that she has to do, but she's going to hang out with us as long as she can. But mainly, I want to say too, we know that the season is not over, okay? And there's a lot that has not been aired. FIONA cannot talk about those things that are not aired yet. So please mind your questions if you have some, but we have to be very careful with this, because I do not ever want to be the reason why somebody broke their NDA, even accidentally. So we're going to talk about other stuff first, and then we'll see how we go here tonight. So, but again, FIONA, thank you so much. I know that Laird probably tell you, oh, don't worry about those guys. They're fine, right?
Yeah.
He did say that.
Yeah, Laird's a seasoned vet now. He's been on a bunch, right?
Yeah, he has. He's been on quite a few times. I remember the very first time, I think he was sitting on his bed in his bedroom, on the edge of his bed when we were talking with him. This is way, way back toward the beginning, but he is always
weird.
Huh?
That's a little weird.
It's a garage one time or something, his workshop or something.
Yeah, he was. Yep, in the garage one time. Yep. Yeah,
well, Tony Sampson was on from was he driving while he was on
truck,
the podcast one
yeah,
time?
he was in his truck driving down.
Yeah. Hey, Jeff wanted to make it, and I thought, goodness, are you driving?
That's great.
Yeah.
We catch them all, at different times. But you get a lot of welcome Fionas there.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
The chat's very
Appreciate it.
excited.
If you think of it, guys,
Wow.
put in where you're from too, so Fiona will know where you're from.
Yes. Please that as well.
Texas there. Wow.
People here from all over, yeah.
Yeah.
So just real quick too, Fiona, I wanted to ask. I know we are going to have a podcast coming up. We're gonna wait a little bit later in the season when most of the Lot 8 stuff and Lot 5 stuff is completed, so that she can tell us more about everything that's happened thus far. But I wanted to ask just real quick too. I mean, had you been interested in archaeology from a young age? Or, I mean, is that something?
Yes. Funny with that story. I knew when I was in grade 6 that I wanted to be an archaeologist. I was very lucky. I went to a private school that had strange courses. I took classical studies and Latin from grade 7 to 13. Like it was very based on cultural type of curriculum. So I knew then, and that same year when I started at this private school and said I was going to be an archaeologist, my parents, I don't know why, but had this poster in the kitchen of Oak Island. It was one of those, purple ones. It was probably from the 1960s or something. And it was always in our kitchen. I never knew why. To my knowledge, my parents were never on Oak Island. They would have had no reason to go there. It wasn't their interest, but it was always there on the wall. And now I just laugh because sadly my parents are deceased, but if they knew that I was actually working on Oak Island, because they know my background and whatnot, I think they'd be tickled pink. And I'm sad that they don't know that I'm doing this, because it would tie everything together. So
Maybe they do.
Yep, maybe they do. Yep. Yeah, that's something too that I know that my mom and I, it's funny that you mentioned that, because my mom and I, we had always, she passed away in 2020, but we were always talking all the time about Oak Island. We'd call each other before the show, during the reruns, because I don't know about up there in Canada, but here in the States, starting at about 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening, they play reruns, the last couple of episodes, until the 9 o'clock comes when the new one comes on. And so we'd always be talking a little bit about back and forth about things, and what do you think is going to be on tonight, and that kind of stuff. And then I started doing the podcast, and she got to watch for a little while before she passed. So I know that she always wanted to go there. So one of these days, if I get an opportunity, I didn't do it last time when we got the tram ride, but I'll have to pick up a little rock and put it in my pocket from the or something, so I could take it, so because she always wanted to go to Oak Island. She wanted to see it so badly, but
just make sure your rock is brown and not a gold nugget.
Yeah.
You might get
one of those little yellow ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, Barlow watches me like a hawk when I'm on the island. He's always watching to see what I'm doing, I've told that story before, but anyway, I cannot get away with anything with him around, that's for sure. All right, so let's get started with it, shall we? And I got in my first slide here. I tell you, I put this in simply because I thought it was kind of cool. Tom kind of added it in there, but here we are, folks. And I wanted to thank all of you folks that are watching here tonight and everything. We have just recently passed 2.5 million views on this channel, and I thank all of you so very much for all of that. It's a wonderful thing that this hobby has turned into so much more, and I'm honored by the wonderful team that we have: Tom and Seth and Mike Owen and Jim Kelgard and Linda and Jan, and Henry's been around and helping with a lot of stuff, and Colin Jameson. And also all of the people from the island and also from Skinwalker Ranch that have come on the podcast and shared their expertise with us. It's really been an honor to do all this. And I tell you, it's a lot of work, and a lot of help has gone into that 2.5 million views. So thank you guys all so very much.
I can still remember one time you got 100 views, and I thought you were going to go like over the moon.
I was going over the moon. Absolutely. That's how it goes, right?
Mm.
So
Well,
anyway,
well, like someone said on Discord last night, as we were discussing, before the show started, someone said, Jeff, this used to just be a TV show that I watched, and then I got and started watching you, and you just made it so much deeper. And I think it was Richard that said it. So shout out to Richard in the chat if he's here. But it's so true. You've really deepened our experience of Oak Island. So thank you so much. It's everything from and all the fun rabbit holes and things we've gotten to discuss. And
it's
like
gone.
Jan Frank, getting him on both shows, and he gets to come on here and talk to you about what he also did in Egypt. Anyways, I'm sorry, Tom. What were you saying?
No, go ahead. No. I just can say it's gone. It's gone from watching two guys trying to go down a little hole that Dan Blankenship dug, 30 years ago, to so much more than that. To like the work that Fiona's doing, and then the rest of the archaeologists, like. The treasure's over here now, and everything else, like especially me being from here, it's like, wow, if they'd have taught this stuff in school, I would have paid attention in history class.
I know. Yeah, that's so true. And that's one of the things too, Fiona, that I wanted to mention to you is that I was so happy to see not only are they bringing technology into this whole thing, but the bringing on of the different teams, like your team, the archaeology team coming on here. It's a no-brainer. But if you go back and look at the old episodes, you see them out there with a couple of shovels, Rick and Marty, and they got a backhoe, and that's about it. But now all of you have come on and made it so much better. I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, how you've had quite a few different archaeologists come and go. I mean, some of the people come and go, but you and Laird have been around. And what's that like for you guys? I mean,
it's really nice to have a cohesive team, and we've always had a very good team, and we've all had very different areas of expertise, and I think that's really helped us, kind of come together because we all have different perspectives. That's been a bonus. We don't always have full-fledged archaeologists, so we usually have a few of us with our degrees, and then we have a team that works with us and under us, under our supervision, and they all have great skills that they add. So it's fun, and we genuinely all like each other. Like I don't know if that's not rare in a workplace, but it's wonderful because we're all very like-minded people, and we all have I guess the same end goal in sight. Just information and discovering. I mean, I guess treasure is part of it, but it's the whole package that comes with it.
Yep.
I don't think I answered your question though.
No, I know. Yeah, that's great. Really. And, that was the thing that we know when Laird got there, and he has been very hard pressed to ever say anything about treasure because, I'm an archaeologist. I don't look for treasure. I look for artifacts, and I look for things in the ground that explain what happened here and all that kind of stuff. As I'm trying to think of exactly how he put it. It wasn't like that, but similar to that. But he's not a treasure hunter.
It's not in the speculation business like we are.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you put yourself in that same category? You're not a treasure hunter, you're an archaeologist, and then if you have to find it, you find it.
Well, that's interesting because I come with passion. So I do with my, I love what I do so much that it's hard not to think of treasure, but when I think of treasure, I'm really, it can be in a lot of things. It doesn't necessarily mean it's the money pit. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's in a particular area either. And I think that's why I enjoy my part of what I do on the island, because I'm not stuck in the money pit doing drilling and you're really looking for one thing. I get to be adventurous and look at all areas of the island, and I get to it's not just the digging, it's tying it in with history, and I really love history. And what many people probably don't know is that in the winter I work year round on the island. So in the winter we run a nonprofit organization as well, and we have researchers, and I'm one of them, and so we're analyzing things, we're looking at the artifacts, we're digging deeper into Nova Scotian history, and I think that has brought so much more additional information to the island, to the show, and to the whole package of what we're trying to uncover, and it's just allowing us to put more pieces together. I mean, even over the years, as people have talked about Lot 5, and we were so confused, initially as to what was going on there. And every year that we've done more and more, it's added more information, and now we're able to make much more informed decisions, because quite often, when you're looking at something on the spot and you've got a camera right there, and the pressure is on to say this is what this is at that moment in time, and you might know what that artifact is and maybe the time frame, but you haven't quite still put it in perspective with the interpretation of what it means in relation to everything else.
Right.
So I think putting all that together, and again, going back to your earlier question, with the team that we have, that's all starting to put things together more and more for us as well, with all the lots.
Yeah, we've really enjoyed everybody that has come on, Todd, and all the different people, and some of them got to actually have speaking parts occasionally, and some of them didn't, but that's okay. But it's been interesting to see, especially the and I'm going to say students, even though that might not be the best word to use. But some of the ladies that came on early, and boy, I'm at a complete loss for some names right now. I remember the one Helen was there, and geez, I'm completely at a loss for some names here. But yeah,
Isabel last year. Isabel
yes.
was a student. She's great. Yep. She's wonderful to work with.
Yeah, so that's really cool, because it gives them an opportunity to work and apply what they're learning in school to being out in the field on a real. I'm going to say archaeological dig, because that's what this is, what you guys are doing. And something like Miriam, thank you. There's names popping.
Oh yeah, Miriam. It'd be cool too to see if any of them kind of do like how I think it's Aaron Taylor that does the recovery of World War II veterans. What a great, cool thing to do. An aspect of archaeology that I didn't even really know you could. Something that I didn't know people did with archaeology. So that was cool too. Get from Oak Island to learning about what he's been doing. So I hope I get to see some of these archaeologists again out, kind of later in their career, if they're ever doing something cool.
Yeah. When the show is over, I don't know.
Oh, never.
We're still expecting to see, what is it? Season 25 and episode 15, when Alex is running the show, and Peter Finetti and all them guys. So,
yeah. My hips won't be working by then.
Well, I did notice that, and we'll get to it as we go along here tonight, but I did notice that Rick is starting to show, when he's getting down in that pit, you weren't there. It was Laird, and then Rick came by, and Rick had to get down in that hole, and he went down there a little slower than he probably might have a few years ago. But
you know what? You get to an age where you no longer jump off the back of the pickup truck, right?
You know what? I think all of us have been like that this year. We're just a little more careful.
Yep, exactly.
It's also a long way down.
Yeah,
it's
steep.
Yeah,
and you're making it deeper all the time. Go ahead, Seth.
I was just gonna say I've enjoyed, because there's my wife doesn't watch the show as much as I do, but she's interested in the history like I am. So during parts of the show, I'll point it out, and I've been pointing out to her what's been under the rock, and just how beautiful the mosaic seems to be. And it was hard for her to understand the scale of it. And there was one shot where Fiona was down in there, and I said, look how big that is. And so it's fun to see the archaeologists in there, just for the sheer scale. You get the scale of how big this undertaking was.
But it's only big enough for one person down there in the bottom of that hole. I mean, that you can't really get a whole lot more, I wouldn't think, in there. But this has been an awesome thing to watch roll out. So tell you what, let's kind of go through this a little bit, and we're going to start off, of course, with the main splash screen that I like to show from time to time. There we go, Curse of Oak Island. And again, I love and I don't know exactly. Breaking the Seal was the name of the show. And I'm assuming that it was when Rick was trying to break the seal down there. We'll
that's what it looked like, yeah.
We'll get to that here in just a minute. But we're going to start off in a place that Fiona probably doesn't get to go very often or know much about, in the Money Pit. And here is that, they call this thing that bucket.
I call it the recovery bucket, but I'm not sure what.
Recovery bucket, dig bucket, whatever. But remember at the end of the last show, episode 17, they had finally gotten this Caisson all the way down to the bottom, and hit the bottom of the solution channel. And at that point, they said, okay, we're going to pull the caisson up just a little bit, let the stuff inside kind of settle into a little pile underneath. And then we'll let it settle overnight. We'll come back in the morning and we'll do this big dig bucket right here. And we'll go down and we'll scoop up whatever's on the bottom and get that rolling. So that's what they're doing here. There's a little artist rendition of the pile as they pulled the caisson back up a little bit. And hopefully you're getting some, something other than just dirt and wood in this pile. And there it is. After they went ahead, they went down. It's got a little door on the bottom that swings around and closes. So they opened it up, set it all the way down, run that thing closed, and it captures pretty much everything that's laying on the bottom. Now, if there's a coin or two laying there flat, it may not grab those based upon what I saw on the bottom of this thing when it came up. But there it is coming up, and they lay it out there right next to the crane. And then Gary goes over with his metal detector and gets a look at it. Grab this picture here because they've got these things laying on the table, and I wasn't sure exactly what they are. It was these things right here,
like some kind of a core sample or something. Oh no,
yeah,
they're brackets. They're brackets.
They're
the eye holes in them.
Yeah, exactly. There's some kind of steel brackets. Obviously, they must be something they put onto the auger itself or in some way or form. I saw those and I kept thinking, what are those? And I knew I had to get a good shot of them today so we could get a look at it and see exactly what they are. But part of the dig process. But here they are. This is Karma 1. And then they got Top Pocket Find 1, which is the caisson that they started with. They got bound up and they had to stop. And then they jumped over to Karma 1 or K1 and got it down to 212 feet when they're hitting the bottom of the solution channel. Well, it turns out that as they brought up everything that they could from the bottom with the big dig bucket, emptied it out, and there was nothing. He went back. Gary went over it several times with the metal detector, basically found nothing in it of interest. So all that got scooped up and taken over to the wash plant to go through. And people said, well, why are they finding things in the wash plant when Gary didn't find it when he was metal detecting every bucket that comes out? Well, the answer to that is that he's not always there metal detecting every bucket that comes out. There are times where he's elsewhere on the island. And so they're not going to stop and go, oh, well, we got to stop and wait for Gary to get back. No, they're going to keep going. So there's times where he's not there to metal detect it. So all those spoils get another look over in the wash plant. This is one of the things here, this picture I grabbed this one here. And this one, Tom also, this is the backfilling of Karma 1. When they found that there was nothing at the bottom of importance, they're going to fill up, they backfill it and pull the caisson out. And I just throw this question out because it bothers me every time I see this happening. They were down in the solution channel, right? They went down all the way down, hit the bottom of the solution channel. And now as they pull this thing up and they're backfilling, are they not backfilling the solution channel as well? I mean,
they can't not be. That's why I wonder, when you get into a place like that and they know they're at the bottom, they know they're at 212, they know they're at target depth. Why aren't they dropping that airlift down there? The green tank is back there.
I know.
And I mean, they could be, they just don't show us, right? But, I'd be dropping that airlift down there.
Yeah. Well, we do know that there's a lot we don't see. I mean, we get about 1% of all the film that is taken. We get about 1% of it. And even then, they edit it up real fancy sometimes, don't they, Fiona?
Yeah, sometimes.
Editorial license.
Editorial license. It's okay until they have you saying something that you didn't really say it that way. But we'll move on from that.
Context matters.
Yeah, context matters exactly.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, I wish I knew what they were doing in the money pit with what you just showed. And unfortunately, you're right. I don't get to go up there. When they're doing that, I'm digging elsewhere. I usually hear about it at lunchtime or afterwards, or sometimes when I watch the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think about that too, Jeff, we know the solution channel's there. And if they're drilling into it and then putting backfill into it, will that not just, I don't know, in my mind, it's just going to keep
down
collapsing,
in water.
right?
They're not dropping it into empty, 100% gravity air. It's going in water, and it's going to go, well, exactly like that picture.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm afraid of. And if they just missed it with that caisson, if that caisson went down, hit the bottom, and it's 8 foot or 7 foot in diameter,
Kiss it goodbye.
then you're only getting an 8 or 7 foot picture of the bottom. And then you pull it up and you start pouring in this backfill. I mean, it will.
But again, I mean, we don't know. They could have dropped a sonar down there. We don't know. That's why I always look. I always look underneath the table to see what's underneath the table for equipment. But
yeah,
they could have dropped a sonar down in there too.
Yeah. So I know that's, and again, I bring up my burying the artifacts. Yeah. Sharon Edwards said burying the artifacts. I'm afraid that might happen because if they pour that in there and it spreads out on the bottom, it might be there for covering what it is that they're trying to find and making.
And I don't think they're doing. Yeah, I know that they're very careful with all of that. Like when I'm just hearing what you're saying and I'm imagining what I hear and see, and no, I think they're very careful about. We don't want to miss anything, and the solution channel is really important. So I don't think that they would allow anything to just slide in. Yeah.
I hope so, and I have to imagine that too, because like I said, there's so much that we don't see. You know, and so many at times we get folks asking me in the comments after the podcast, they're asking me, well, why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do that? Well, oftentimes they did do this or that. We just didn't see it. They didn't show us. So anyway, it's also like those artifacts that, you know, Fiona will find this great artifact in lot 5 and we got to see it in her hand showing the camera. Look at that. Isn't that really cool? That's the last we ever see of it. We never get to see it. Now it's gone. It disappeared.
Lost in space.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think about the amount that we do find, and I think one year maybe you might see 20 artifacts, and we probably found 2,000.
Yeah,
I'm not kidding.
I know.
But they can't show everything.
No, they can't.
No, they can't.
It would be boring if you saw everything. But
yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Boring to us.
Yeah. I would watch a live feed of just digging, you know, on the island.
There's a lot of people that have said that. I'm gonna say, show a raise of hands in the chat if you would watch an archaeology, you know, a show about archaeology. Let's just say that it's Fiona down there with her trowel and under the boulder in lot 8, and she's scraping for hours. Would you watch it? Oh yeah, look at me. Wow, yes.
I often will
take
watch
a trail cam and strap it to a tree, and
there's something satisfying about that. Just watching people do something, you know, methodically. And I'm sorry, Fiona, what were you saying?
No, I'm just thinking there's so much that the cameras don't always capture. They're with us most of the day, but not every minute of the day. And there's times where we may find things, and it's a joke between us because I love ceramics. I really find what we find fascinating. So I will find a shard and we literally go shard, like nobody else sees it. It's just us. And if you can see some of the stuff that we do when we find stuff, and you know, it's really fun. And honestly, I think you could have a great blooper show too.
We've talked about that.
Yes, we've talked about a blooper show. We want a blooper show. Absolutely. Oh my goodness, yes. But yeah, there's been so many interesting things. Yeah, I know.
Well, now I'm going to shout that next time that you guys find a shard.
Yeah. If you find a shard in the forest, does it make a noise?
Oh, yes. Well, it's like
that. Only my noise when I find it.
We can hear Fiona all the way from Tony Sampson's boat. You know, when he's going around in his boat.
Across the Bay of Fundy, I'll hear it. I go, what was that?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So yeah, that's going to be a thing now. We're all going to do that from now on when you find a shard. Exactly. And they find them once in a while, even in the swamp. We've seen them in the north end of the swamp there, finding pieces of pottery, as Gary would call it. Yeah. Finding pieces of stuff like that. It's really, and you guys know, I mean, you look at it, you go, oh, that's, you know, that's earthenware, or that's, you know, whatever. And you can pretty well put a date to it right there on the spot. And I know you're under the gun, but yeah, give a little time for analysis too, you know, to really get that thing. But my wife and I were always asking, okay, you found that piece that's this big. It's 1 inch by 2 inches big. It's a plate, maybe. Where's the rest of it? Why is there just that one piece laying down there? Where's
that's
the
a good question.
There's more. We just have to keep going back for the rest. That's all. Yeah.
And I guess to glue it all together.
Well, we do. That's part of what I do after the season ends. I
Nice.
start mending things, and to your point on that, we don't always find the match 2 feet away or 2 inches away. Sometimes it's in the next test pit over because dust gets kicked around. Things get kicked with your feet, and so it may be in a different test pit, so you're not automatically going to see it. And we literally have to look at these and visually put them all out and try to see if they fit, and then we will mend them so that we can try and get as many complete vessels, or
it's like trying to put 2 or 3 different jigsaw puzzles together at the same time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But it's really cool when you were talking about the pottery that you might find at the swamp versus somewhere else and the differences in them. It's really helpful to us to look at the different areas, because the pottery we find in one area has different dates than what we find in other areas because of the people that would have been there or that was used. So that's what's fascinating. Every little area tells a story.
Yeah, we've been so big on the multi-generational use of the island, and the season has been too. And I feel like the more you talk about the pottery, the more I'm realizing how important the pottery is in that story. Because you're right, like it's such a clear, this is the date, these are the people.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thanks you for all the pottery you're finding.
Every shard is sacred.
Yes, it is. It's amazing because and people always ask me, and I'm going to ask Linda to put that little comment back up here in just a second. But people are always asking me, all the time, are they ever going to find anything on that show? And I'm just like,
they've found so much
every episode. Okay, it may not be the gold and treasure that you were looking for, or the silver coins or whatever, but they find stuff on every episode, and they're all pieces that are putting together to tell this story. Obviously, that person isn't interested in the story. They're like Marty; they just want the treasure. How soon can we pick up this boulder? Can we pick this thing up yet? How come we haven't lifted it yet? So it's like you have to. We like the history. I like the history part of it too, and you guys are filling in all of this history with what you're finding, and that's really the important part to me. I wanted to comment on this too. Brian says, I wonder how large the winter crew is on the island. I just assumed that it was completely closed down all winter. Apparently that's not the case. Thank you for the comment, Brian. That's apparently not the case with Fiona. You're there all winter too, huh?
Yeah, there's not very many of us that work there through the winter. And of course, I mentioned we have a nonprofit. So there's a few of us. Emma is one of them. It's Emma, Jill, myself, and Karen, who you don't see on the show. She works with me in the archives, and we do different things. But Emma still works on analysis, and we look at artifacts. We did some really interesting things. We've actually, because of the equipment we have, which we didn't have, in the first 10 seasons, we're able to actually now go back. Part of our winter project in the last 2 years has been going back through some artifacts that we might have a big chunk of indeterminate iron that we never really knew what it was. And now we're going back and finding some more artifacts from earlier years that we really never even knew existed. We didn't know what they actually were. Right. So it's great. Winter work gives us lots of extra information.
Yeah, that was part of what I was talking about earlier by, bringing in people like Ian Spooner and Matt Lukeman and yourself and the archaeology team, and Gary even, with the metal detecting, bringing in these people, experts in your fields, to come in and really try to nail us down, and the equipment.
Yeah, that lab's awesome.
That lab is awesome. It really, truly is.
Do you ever sneak into the lab and say, when Emma's not around, and get to use the stuff? Or
right? Yeah, I want to see what this is.
Well, in the winter, I was managing the lab last year over the winter time, and I would never dare touch the equipment. Emma is the only one who touches the equipment. Jill can do some things. I will just go in, bring things for them to do, and stand there and watch them do it. And because I like to learn, I want to know. I did geology as well as part of my degree, so I understand when I'm looking at it, but I would never be able to analyze it the way she does. I mean, her expertise.
Pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really adds to the whole story.
It does. And it makes it so much easier because we see it, obviously on the show, sometimes it looks like it's the same day, or they find that we'll get to that in a little bit, the spike in the wash plant, and then boom, they're looking at it in the lab later on that same day. Well, it's probably not the same day as we well know, but you don't have to wait weeks and weeks to send something off to a lab somewhere to get the answers to it. And that's what is so cool. So I'm really happy that all this is, however you go about obtaining all these things, keep on doing it because it's wonderful. And I think you all need a big raise too. By the way. I'm gonna talk to Marty about that. All right.
Thanks.
As if he ever listened to me. All right, so let's keep rolling here, or we're never going to get through this episode. So we're having so much fun. I could just sit here and talk to Fiona all day. All right, so let's go over here now. We know that going back to the first Caisson top pocket find, or TPF1, they said that they had to put the oscillator over top of it, and get that rolling again because, of course, it bound up. Here it is. They're getting ready to raise the oscillator and put it over there, but then they actually started working a little bit without the oscillator on there. But I grabbed this picture here because I'm looking over where the guys are standing, and there's a caisson still in the ground filled with backfill. I mean, I that one doesn't look like it's just a piece of metal sitting there. I think that's
that's Karma 1, isn't it? That's Karma 1, isn't it?
I think that is Karma 1.
That's Karma 1.
Yeah,
they said it was less than 10 feet away or 12 feet away or something.
Yeah, they filled it with backfill. I wonder, maybe they just decided not to pull it out. It was going to take too much time, or
they left it for stability.
Right. Yeah, maybe. Oh, yeah, good point. Yeah. Yeah. We're going to get to that here in a little bit too. But hey, folks, I wanted to say too, I see a couple people, Joanna, you guys have helped support the show. Thank you all so very much. I really appreciate it. It's so nice of you to do that, and it really does help keep this thing going. So thank you, Joanna. And I know there was a couple others there that helped with that. So I did notice that. I just didn't say anything at the time, but thank you so very much. Appreciate it. All right, so this one here, top pocket find, they get it going, and you can see some of the backfill on it. And I noticed there was a comment that was made by I think it was Terry was talking about how, or maybe it might have been Scott, talking about how the backfill is down to 150 feet.
Yep.
So they got to go 150 feet before they ever get down to a glacial till or any kind of a material that's down there in situ below that line. So that's a lot of backfill to be hauling out of there. Hey, Craig, Fiona's raised. I think she's going to need a little bit more than that. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Craig. Appreciate it. But anyway, you see them pulling it out here as they go along, and then they had this collapse, and that was something that I was concerned. And you saw, if any of you watched the little short that I had put out for the next time on the Curse of Oak Island little preview, this right here bothered me to no end because of the fact that we've seen this before. We've seen these collapses happen just last season, as a matter of fact, in the same well about 20 feet away. I was afraid that this had gone very deep and it was going to be an all stop type situation. But apparently it wasn't, right, Tom? I think this was only a couple 10
or 12 feet. Yeah. The other one last year went right to the bottom.
Yeah.
So it's a total collapse. This one only went down 12 feet or so. Yeah.
Yeah. And you see them backfilling around the edge of the can right there as they're going along. So top 12 feet. Yeah. And begin the 7-foot interior telescoping caisson. They're going to start going 7 foot inside of that.
That's something that we learned last year too, right? When we were talking to Vanessa from Rock, when we were talking about possibly doing 10X, that they could telescope one inside the other.
Yeah, that's great stuff. Here's 1 year ago. Here's the one that this was TB1, Tom Burns 1.
Yeah, don't mention that. No.
TB1 that had all the issue, and they ended up having to stop. I'm afraid, and I don't know if you ever hear about this, and you don't have to comment on it, Fiona, but I'm always afraid that with all of the solution channels down there below, and all the caissons and the drilling and everything that's been done in this thing, that the whole money pit's going to drop like 20 feet at some point. I would be afraid, honestly. And they're
Dr. Spooner heard the rumble last year. Right?
Yeah, that guy hanging over the edge. No, thank you. Not me.
No, I wouldn't do it. No way.
Yeah, he thought he was hooked on to anything. Yeah.
Oh, you're muted, Fiona. If you're,
I would say there is genuine cause for concern with that. I've seen the diagrams that show all the boreholes and caissons and drill points, and interestingly, because I run the archives in the winter, I have the privilege of going through a lot of letters, and right now I've been going through a lot of early letters from early drillers from early 1900s, and talking about the collapses that happened, and I've been learning so much about the money pit and drilling, believe it or not, and yeah, they had a lot of collapses in those early years, in the early searching years, so to the point that at one point they didn't even know where the real money pit was. So because it was lost, it was totally collapsed. So really fascinating, relating these documents and letters to what's really happening now, and it's helping the drilling as well by combining these old letters and you know, with what went on in the past with what we're doing now.
Yeah, looking up those old drill programs is a little hobby of mine too, and going, whoa, like this is as Vanessa calls it, Swiss cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd be very concerned, but they're still going and they're still putting them in. So we'll see. Hopefully they don't have any major problems with this going forward. I hope anyway. But here on this one, you can see the 7-footer going down through there, and they're putting the you can see the backfill on the edge of it. They're going to go down inside that, and they'll be bringing out backfill, but again, probably down to 150 feet or so.
150,
but they want to hit it. They want to get into that solution channel once again. And take another look and see if they can bring up anything. So we haven't got there yet with this particular Caisson. Hopefully by the end of next week's episode, we'll be able to see what they get to on it for that. But top pocket find, a high expectation. And, you know, you've heard Rick and Marty both talk about how exciting it is every time a new Caisson gets started. How excited they get, because this could be the one, and then bring up that one thing that they're looking for. In every one, and then you see their disappointment sometimes when you get down to the bottom and it brings up nothing of interest, and they're all like deflated a little bit, but let's get on with the next one, you know, move over and start another one. Because what, you know, Tom, you've mentioned it before, you know, I think it was Steve was talking about, you could miss a car down there.
Yeah, he told me one time, he said with the way those drills walk, you know, that's why they have to put the gyro down there all the time to figure out how much they're moving. He said there's spots down there you could put a small car that they haven't hit yet, especially at depth.
Which is crazy to think about, you know, because we've been watching them drill this spot for 10 years.
600 bore holes, and how many Caissons now?
Yeah, but they always stop too shallow, remember?
Yes, they did. For a long time, we kept telling about it. We're yelling at our TVs, go deeper, go deeper.
Some of the old drill programs, I mean, they went down, you know, 180, 190, 200 plus feet before they hit concrete or wood, or, you know, and were they actually hitting it, or was it a collapse that they were picking up with these old drill programs?
Yeah, I don't know.
You know?
Yep. Well, we'll see. Hopefully they find something on this one. We know they're going to do a few more this season, so we'll see what they come up with. But okay, so next we're going to jump over to the wash plant. And I'm glad they brought this new rig in here, the whole new wash plant rig. You see them all there working, and they did find this one piece. I think it was Barkhouse had found one of these, a piece of spike here. And this is from the Karma 1 spoils, 167 feet. And high phosphorus content on this piece here. Broken. They said it was broken. And there's just another. I grabbed this one here because we often talk about, you know, these environmental issues that they may have come across, things that are preventing them. You've seen when there's some of the water that comes out of the money pit area and how it has to go into that little retention pond that they have. Same way with this one here. You can see here where it's the water is coming through the wash plants, running through this pipe all the way over and dumping into this little retention pond over here, so it doesn't dump directly into the ocean, because they're not allowed to do that. So it's very cool, the fact that, I mean, they have to, but yet they are very conscious about making sure that all this is they mind all this business very well, make sure that that doesn't happen. So kudos to the guys to make sure that this is all working the way that they're supposed to. I grabbed this shot here simply because you can see you know, how this all works, you know, with the long reach excavator picking up the spoils that they bring over from the dump truck. They dump it right here. They scoop it up, put it into the wash plant. It makes its way around for the people to analyze later. And they do catch a lot of stuff like this spike that isn't found by Gary when he's doing the metal detecting. So it's a good thing that they have this process in place. We're going to jump over to the lab next, and we're going to get a chance to look at Carmen Legg. Yay, Carmen! I'm wearing his shirt tonight. We got his shirt for a giveaway as well. Love Carmen. He's a great guy. Have you got to spend much time talking to Carmen, Fiona?
Yeah, he's a really nice guy. Very genuine character. Very good-hearted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, he's on the island a lot. He'll just come even when we have tours. He helps with our summer tours too.
He drove our tram that I was on.
That's right.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I know that they were going back. Him and Danny Henniger is the one that actually conducted the tour, and then Carmen was driving. I mean, could you ask? I mean, Fiona, if you were there driving, that would be fun too. But could you ask for more? I mean, that's really awesome.
I don't know. We drive those buggies pretty quickly down the roads. They probably wouldn't let me drive the tram.
Here's a question from Kat. Fiona, when you find lead, do you have a special handling procedure at all?
It's funny. We have procedures for a lot of things, particularly charcoal and carbon, but we don't really for lead because lead it could be lead splash. It could have just been, a lead bar that's been repurposed. We probably shouldn't be touching it, safety wise, but I don't think that we're touching it enough that it's going to do any harm to us. If that was a concern, and quite often with the lead, it's not something that we're going to necessarily analyze. Usually, it's already there for a particular purpose. You can usually tell. I mean, you get slags of it. So no, but we keep it. We make note of it, as with everything. We're very careful. We have spreadsheets from every season. We know what artifacts we found at any given time, what soil levels is that, so that in the wintertime when we can do our interpretation, we see where it all is. So same with the lead. Yeah.
It's funny too. And I know that, and I'm not, please don't comment on this because you may know more about this than you're allowed to say, but it's one of those times when you're yelling at the TV every time they show that barter token. It's not a barter token. They talk about that. It was a piece of flat lead with the scalped edges all around it and had the two little holes in it. The show keeps calling it a barter token. Well, it's anyway.
I think that's because once it gets a name initially for the camera on the show, if somebody says that's what it is, you kind of, just for continuity's sake, if we change the name, nobody would be able to find the artifact or know what it was. So I think the show
that's true. Yeah.
That's like the circular structure on lot 5.
Yeah.
And then later, if we think it's something else or it's been reanalyzed, we'll correct it in the back end. We just have to not necessarily correct it on the show because other people, it would confuse people too much. But if you come to the museum, you'll see what the real thing is.
Speaking of that museum, I'm looking forward to the day, and again, you don't have to comment on this, but I'm looking forward to the day when the museum is open and we can go in and see. But as far as I can tell, with the probably tens of thousands of artifacts that you guys have found, you don't have enough room. That building is nowhere near big enough for all the stuff that I want to see. So you're gonna have to expand.
Well, I think we'll do it in a fun way. We'll do it kind of on a rotating basis so that we get to show all the artifacts at different points in times in different types of exhibits. We're going to have fun with it.
Yes. That means I got to come back many, many times then.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's what's going to have to happen. All right. So let's continue on, shall we? Okay. Now we're getting the analysis of this from getting it Carmen dated. The rose head spike, a hand forged, came out of Karma 1 spoils, 167 feet. It was broken off, according to Carmen. It was originally probably 5 or 6 inches long, had a high phosphorus content, and then Emma gave it a date of the mid 1700s. And in the analysis, I think I've got a picture of, here it is here. Carmen was talking about, you heard about rose head spikes, that the rose head is actually made by the person who's forging it, I'm assuming. And I see Fiona nodding, so I think I got that right. Yeah. Where this one was probably a broken piece that somebody just grabbed it and just drove it in, and that driving it in is what bent the top of it around the way it is. I'm assuming that's I think that's the way Carmen was trying to explain it on the show, because you can see definitely right here how it's not been forged that way. Interesting though that they would do that, and you find something this deep in the money pit at 167 feet down, and the age puts it before the time of the money pit being discovered by Von Smith and Vaughn. in the 1795. So they're automatic. You're going to say, oh, that's depositor, but doesn't really seem like it goes back far enough to be depositor unless the depositor is not of that early time period. If that depositor happens to be from the mid 1700s, then you may have a case. And Tom, again, they brought up Duke Donby, and you grabbed this page again.
Yeah, we went back like last year or the year before, what it was, and we looked at those alleged handwritten notes from the Duke's expedition.
Right.
And, if you look at the manpower that they had on hand and willing to throw at these things, you're looking at 200 people they're going to throw at the digging a pit for a period of 10 to 15 days. 200 guys can move a lot of dirt in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Now, again, if you read through the notes, different times, different places, they stopped and they restarted and they picked another pit and that sort of thing. But what's the other? So finally, at the end of the day, they did wind up getting down to about, they figured 92 feet where the soil was drier, where they could build their shaft and build their treasure, whatever. So, even back then, getting down 92 feet, I mean, that's 9 stories in the ground.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
It is. Think about that.
So it wasn't, and I mean, in his earlier notes, he said, they were beginning to work to paying the men and packing up treasure and stores for landing. So, if this note holds true and it's in the 1746 range, then totally possible he could have been one of the people in there poking around.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. It makes me wonder if they were, because the bones, I'm just thinking of the bones.
Yep. Yeah.
That they way before mid 1700s. Yep. How did those get down there? What are we just having multiple withdrawals and deposits from the money pit because they knew the way in? But then why did he need to dig 90 feet?
It's the age-old story. Location.
Yeah. I don't know. That's got to be.
These guys passed these locations around.
Yeah. And if it did go from, the Vikings coming over and spreading that word to the Templar, and the Templar came over and they wanted to start exploring over here, they might have known of a place they could hustle away their things that they found from the temple in Jerusalem and keep it out of the Catholic Church's hands. I mean, we could go into that all, and many researchers have, as we well know. My thinking always goes back to the Revolutionary War, and those that have said in their theories that any treasure or some treasure from Oak Island was, people went back, they got it, and they used it to fund the Revolutionary War. There is some credence to that whole line of thinking, but if they did, what did they find? Did they find it all? Did they find any? And we know that Benjamin Franklin was there. We know Thomas Jefferson was there. FDR. Yes. Thank you. So, I mean, is it possible? Yeah, it is possible. But it's also very possible that if you listen, like we talked about with Ian Spooner, talking about the fact that the water samples are coming back with high concentrations, higher than normal concentrations of silver and gold in the water samples from the money pit, it has to mean that something is still there. So it makes you wonder what,
instruments are not, the thing you have to remember is instruments are not an opinion.
Correct.
They're readings.
Right. Exactly right. Yep. Like when Emma, when she scans these metals, and it comes up on her machine or in her analysis telling her how much phosphorus is in there and all the magnesium and everything else, it helps her to get a time frame on this. Yeah, that machine's analysis is not an opinion, right? So makes it.
And on that note, sometimes we have to be careful with some of our machinery, because if we have a portable XRF out in the field, it doesn't always calibrate the exact same way as our XRF in the lab is. So sometimes we have to reanalyze some of those any type of the testing that we do, and kind of do a secondary test in the background, kind of to reconfirm. So we often do that in the background too. I'm just mentioning that because it's a thing.
No, it makes sense. Yep.
Yeah. Well, and actually, Ian mentioned that before, because he came in, and I'm going to talk lot 8 Boulder for just a moment. He came in with that handheld XRF and he did some scanning in there. And then he looked at it and he said, oh, we're coming up with some silver that we didn't see before and some copper that we didn't see before. But he did say right there, this has to go back for analysis and to get further testing on this stuff. So I'm glad he said that, because it goes right along exactly with what you just said, Fiona. Thank you.
Yeah. And that applies to everything on the island. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So it's not just a one look, one thing. Oh, that's what it is. It's checked over many times by different methods. That's the scientific method, right? Get it done right. We also had this little slide here, and then we're going to go to our giveaway. This one here was, we were talking about this little possible gate latch a few weeks ago, episode 10, 8 weeks ago. And excuse me. And Tom found this picture of these. These are like, they're stuck in logs, right? Is that pulling?
Yeah, that's when I first saw it. I mean, it could very well possibly be a gate latch. I don't know. But when the first time I saw it, the first thing I thought was those things we used to use in the woods. We hook the horses up to your pulp or trees to haul them out of the woods. You drive this curved spike down into the log, hook it to a chain, hook it to the back of the horse's harness, trawl, whatever you want to call it, and pull them out that way. That's what I thought it might be. But, that's just one person's view.
I was just thank you for that. I was just looking at Brian's comment here. This has already aired. Would it be okay to ask Fiona if she felt like she was with Marty? To ask Fiona if about when Marty was pressing about getting.
Well, yeah, it's like always, right? I mean, it's like, let's get the show's like, Marty's in to do business, get it done, and archaeologist has to kind of, let's talk him down, and we're going to do it slowly. We don't want to ruin anything, and so I'll let you answer. Sorry.
Yeah, that did actually happen this year, and I don't. We have to.
It was a topic for discussion.
It's a good topic because I think some people would find archaeology very slow, and I can understand when you're wanting to figure something out and get down to the bottom. But from an archaeologist's perspective, if you start bringing in excavators on any site, you've automatically lost some information. However, at the same time, sometimes you do need to bring in heavy equipment, partially because there's things that are beyond our ability to move safely, right. Or we need them out of the way because we need to excavate something further in that area. So we will have to do it. But so we're really picky and choosy, and Marty and I are like this on that in a good way. Right. At one point, I think we actually shook and made a deal that you're not touching that excavator until I've done this and this. That happens, and it's a good camaraderie between us because I keep him in check and slowing him down, and he keeps me moving forward so that he doesn't bring that in.
Yeah, it was funny that he made that comment on the show talking about, I think it was actually episode 17 last week, where he said, this is the first time that all the experts agree on one thing, where you were talking about the fact that the Lot 8 situation was definitely everything was been placed there by mankind. It wasn't natural formation or anything like that. And he goes, I can't believe everybody's agreeing on the same thing. It was pretty funny.
Yeah. Yeah. And to your point about seeing the use of the heavy machinery, it was so cool, Fiona, to see that crane come in. And like, it was also really fun to see the archaeologists' relief when y'all realized that they'd be able to just kind of drill into the rock and lift it up and not ruin any of that.
Not drag it along.
Yeah. That was my number one concern, and why we had any reservations in picking up in the first place is because there was so much fragile information around the whole exterior everywhere that we didn't want to lose any bit of information. The site's just too important to mess up.
Yeah, it was a controversial topic in the Facebook group. I remember people were on both sides of the fence. Some were like, let's move it already. And others were like, please no. But like you said, just like you and Marty, we're always good. Yeah,
but they did a really clean lift when you saw it.
Oh, yeah.
That was the most stress I think that day was, is something going to collapse, or are we going to lose information? And we didn't. We didn't.
If that crane was just off center a little bit, it picks that rock up in its wings, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. That would have been devastating.
Oh, man. I mean, hats off to the crane operator. He knew what he was
doing.
I
know. Yeah, for sure. You could kind of see the sigh of relief on your face, Laird's face. Most of the archaeology team. Okay, now pick it, just move it over slowly and set it down out of the way. I see people are asking questions, folks. We can't ask these questions. Some of them are.
Yeah, we'll steer away from that.
Yeah, we got to wait until most of the season is finished. so that Fiona can come back at that point and talk about some more stuff. And by the way, we're going to do our giveaway here in a moment. Linda's going to come on and help us. But we are expecting Fiona. This was kind of to get her feet wet here with us a little bit today, because we'd love to have her come back. And I want to do a show with her, with Tom and I, and Seth. You can be there too if you would like. And we would have her come and talk about, anything that she can give us at that point. So, but we have to wait a little longer for that to happen also. And I didn't know, I know I kind of prepped you on this a little bit, talking about the presentation you gave at the Oak Island Convention last year in September. It was phenomenal. And I was hoping that at some point you could talk. I didn't know what you're going to present this year, because you're going to be there in June again. Mm-hmm. Was it going to be the same topic that you're going to do this time, or?
I don't think it should be. I think that would be boring if it's the same, but I haven't quite fully figured out exactly what would be. But I do think that the topic that we had picked at the convention, I think it's a really important one. And I would be happy to come and share some of that information. It was a very long presentation, so I'd probably have to condense it. But, it could be in a manner that questions could easily be answered on that. And I think it ties so much of the information of the intergenerational aspects of what happened on the island, as well as all the searchers and the interesting connections between them. So, I think that would be a great topic.
Kat was there and she said, loved your family talk. And that's exactly what it was all about. Yeah. Maya was there too. And she said, yes, please. And that's what we're hoping for. So stay tuned, folks. We're going to get Fiona to come back and join us and talk about that same presentation. If we need to go for 3 hours, as long as Fiona can take it, we'll go 3 hours. I mean, it's really, I thought it was fantastic, and I would love to hear it again. So I'm all for having that presentation. So stay tuned, folks. We'll get that scheduled, and we'll let you know, of course, plenty of time ahead when she can do that for us. So, all right, let's do our giveaway. Linda, if you want to come on in, and we'll do this now. I'm going to show the picture once again for the giveaway. And this is it here. It is a t-shirt from Carmen Legg, and also this Oak Island Treasure Shop bag that was from the actual Oak Island Treasure Shop. And for these, hi, there's Linda. You have to be a member of our Facebook group page, which is the Curse of Oak Island and Beyond Skinwalker Ranch, because that's another show we talk about. And you become a member of our Facebook group, and then Linda will put out a post showing what the following week's giveaway is going to be. And all you have to do, not here, because I see people doing it last week, on that post in Facebook, you comment saying yes. That's all you got to do is just say yes, and you will be. You
have to be in our Facebook group in order to enter.
Yep.
You can't enter on here. You can't enter on YouTube.
And if anybody's like, I don't want to do Facebook, I made my Facebook to join the group. I'm pretty sure. But that's the only reason I get on.
I'm sorry, I can't do this on Patreon. I can't do this on Twitch. I can't do this on Rumble. I can't do this on X. I can't do it on Instagram. I've had all of those questions over the last several months. I don't want to join Facebook. No. I'm on blah, blah, blah. Okay. I can't do that.
Yeah.
I just keep it simple.
Yeah, that's the only place that we can really do that, folks. So that's where it happens. It happens in our Facebook group. And you must be present at the podcast to win. So Linda's going to do her spinaroo there, and then we're going to see who wins, and you must be present. So if your name comes up, we'll announce it and then say you're here, you're here. And if you have a name different in Facebook than you do in YouTube, then you got to let us know, because
I try to keep track of those, and everybody tells me every week I have this great book that Jan
Crazy Oak Island Lady.
It has all of my notes about things like that in it.
Where did you get that book?
Jan knows me well. You'll have to ask Jan Anderson. She gave it to me for Christmas one year.
Instead of the crazy cat lady, it's the crazy Oak Island lady.
Crazy Oak Island lady, right?
That's hilarious. That's so good. All right, I'm going to put you in solo layout here so we can see the spin, and we'll
spin that wheel.
There it is.
Oh gosh, thanks, Jeff.
Pressure's on.
All those names in there. It's crazy.
Oh, Robert was so close.
Robert, yeah,
Janet.
so close.
April. Janet.
April.
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 That's
Speak up.
Yos.
April, are you here? Let us know if you're here. Yeah, I see my son out there. Hey, Jeremy.
If
How you doing?
April doesn't have a different name, then I've not seen April here.
Okay.
This
All right.
We'll give her a little time.
Give her a little time. This is a spot where the guest has to sing Fiona. If we
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Fiona's name won't come up. If it did, I would certainly send her the shirt from the giveaway tonight. But
Well, she sang a little bit.
No, that would
you have to enter.
Right.
You have to enter.
Yeah.
It's not just me like randomly putting people on there. So sorry.
All right. April, let us know if you're here, April, or we're going to have to spin again. So let's
Hi,
see
Jeremy.
Hey, Jeremy.
Yep.
I'll include myself in the beautiful people.
Yeah, you might as well.
Seth is a beautiful person.
We're getting, I don't
Well,
see.
Doug says, goodbye, April. Hello, mate. Yeah. All right, April.
We're going to give a
Amen.
countdown on you, April. We're going to have
One-
to spin again if you're not here.
There's a couple episodes, Fiona, where we had to do this like 3 times because people just weren't
here.
Yeah.
They forget that you have to be here.
Yeah, you got to be here.
Gotta be here, yeah.
This is all part of the fun, though.
All right. Yeah.
All right. I think
All
we
right.
should spin that
That's
wheel
great.
again.
Spin again.
Okay, let's
Spin
try
that
it.
wheel.
Shard. Oh,
Shard.
You can't say that till after we get a winner.
hold it up just a little higher.
April almost
Her
won.
name almost came up again.
Vicky.
Vicky Banner.
Vicky Manor, are you on
Vicky
here?
Banner, are you here? Yeah, Fiona, this whole thing started. People started sending us stuff to give away on the show. That's how it all happened, and then we started giving them away, and it just became a thing. And so whenever I'm up in Nova Scotia or whatever, I buy stuff at the shop or wherever, and people start sending us more stuff to give away, and it's just become a thing now. So that's how it all got
Yeah,
started.
we gave away 1 or 2 things for like a special show.
Mhm.
And then it was like, it blew up.
Yeah, it did. It kind of blew up on us.
So could I offer some of my artwork? I do. I have a thing about
Yes.
rocks. I
Yes.
paint rocks and I paint pictures and I do greeting cards and things like that.
Oh
And
my
we sell it for charity in our store because we have the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Oh,
We're
yes.
very big
Yeah,
into
yeah,
that.
Right.
So I do all this artwork for our charity. So I'd be happy to send you some of those.
Oh my gosh, yes,
We'll
please.
connect after and I'll do that for you.
All right. I just,
Be
you know,
fantastic.
I'll be there in a couple months. I can just pick them up.
Okay.
I'll bring them back in my suitcase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we're doing it again. This is it. Come on, people.
Okay,
I
come on.
haven't seen a Vicky pop in here.
Nope.
So
Be here. Doug says my middle name is Vicky.
all right, one more time.
Spin that wheel again.
Again. Third time's the charm. We got to get it this time. John Younger. Hopefully John is here. This could take all night. It's never been gone past 3. So
Never
we'll
gone
see
past
what
3.
happens.
No.
Yeah.
You
I
did
win?
not
I don't know.
win $2 billion.
Yeah.
So
Didn't even win
sorry.
1 billion.
Yeah. Just tuning in an hour late. Nice to see. Oh, see there? Okay.
Oh.
John, I'm here. It says 2 billion. Is that? Oh no.
No.
I don't have that on my list.
Yeah. See? Tap that Sugar Shack. Oh yeah, they've got the maple syrup going to start running, huh?
Oh, she's
Have you
running
already
now.
tapping? Are they tapping already?
Oh, yeah.
Oh wow.
She's running big time now. You get these hot and cold days.
Fiona, do you like maple syrup? Do you like the real stuff or the store bought?
No, I like the real stuff. Yes,
Me
I-
too.
Wait,
Oh my gosh.
wait. There's maple syrup not in a store that I can get somewhere?
Oh yeah.
I've never
No,
had
this is
non-store
saying
maple
John
syrup.
is
Really?
here, but I'm not seeing John.
Right there.
Oh, there you are.
John.
There you go. Someone yelled shard. Shard.
All right.
Shard. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to put it on the
That
list.
should be our new thing. You know, when you get your name picked, you have to type shard into the.
Yeah.
Right.
Instead of saying
if
I'm here, you have to
will-
street shard. Yeah.
If you will private message me your address, I will get that in the mail to you probably Friday. It's going to be 90 degrees and I'll just melt, but I'll do it.
90.
90 degrees.
Yes, it was
weather.
-4 Fahrenheit on Monday morning, people. It's going to be 90 on Friday afternoon.
Wow. Yeah, that's kind of like we just
We had
said
9 degrees yesterday. We
inches
thought
of
we were
snow.
great.
Yeah.
90.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well,
Okay, let's go.
thank you, Linda. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Linda.
Thanks.
All right, we are going to jump right in and continue on with Fiona's favorite place. Now we're going to have to be very careful here. So because Fiona has to be careful what she talks about. So if you want to just sit quiet, that's fine. If you feel like you can jump in, feel free. All right. So this is the one place, again, as I've said before, that I think is the highlight of the season 13 so far, anyway.
Absolutely.
Of what we've seen and how, and people, Fiona, this is kind of for you too, but people have wondered, how could that boulder have been sitting there all this time, people going around it and never noticed it before and never thought anything big about it? But there's probably quite a few besides the Nolan's Cross boulders. There's probably quite a few big boulders on this island. You can't search every single one all the time, right? I mean,
Yeah, I can comment on that. I will tell you that Laird has incredible eagle eyes, and the interest started because of some other research that we'd been doing with lot 5, 6, 7, 8, and some of the lot owners that we knew were really searchers on the island. So we're really interested in these lots. And he went scouting, looking around, and honestly, when he looked at this boulder, and just saw something wasn't right in on the south end of it. It just didn't look right. And I think, honestly, if I had walked by that same boulder, I'm not convinced I would have seen what Laird saw.
Yeah.
So I'm super impressed with his ability to look at a site that, you think about it, there's a lot of moss, there's a lot of leaves and other things that have littered. The sites have changed over the years.
Yep.
So quite frankly, it was his eagle eyes that saw something out of place, and we just started discovering it. And
look where it's gone now. Yeah, it's crazy. Who would have thought that it would have been something like this? I remember, and I grabbed this picture here, not only because we're finally getting a look at what you're uncovering in there, but also because of the shop vac. And we heard early on, when you was still, the boulder was still sitting there and you were looking underneath and with the camera and stuff like that. And I think it was Laird made a comment about using a shop vac and sucking some of that. And we're like, oh my gosh, yes, get the shop vac out.
Yeah, and then we never saw it. But thank you, Jeff, for catching it. I missed that. I'm tickled by that. Hooray, shop vac.
We'll use one. I thought that was the weirdest thing in my previous job before working on Oak Island and other places. I'd never used a shop vac before. Didn't even think that would be a thing. And quite frankly, it makes sense. It's only for that purpose. So there's no cross contamination. It's able to capture every single thing that we suck in, and we can still screen it and analyze it. It's perfect. Yeah. It's only used for certain specific things, but it's a useful tool.
Yeah, it's really cool. So there's Rick and Peter coming out to check things out, and a shot of the now boulder sitting off to the side. This thing, and again, this thing is just huge, 40 tons. This thing, it's amazing that it could. But this cradle that's underneath there has now developed into much more. I know that the original, when they first picked it up, and we saw how that had the rocks around when it was still sitting in place. We saw the rocks all kind of evenly spaced around the outside perimeter, like they were holding it in place, and there was gaps in between there. And then, of course, putting the camera underneath, we saw that there was actually a gap underneath it. I don't know if that ran the whole length or not, but we were able to get a look underneath this thing a little bit. We have not seen any analysis of anything that's been taken out from underneath, except for we've heard a little bit from Ian talking about some of the lead that was found in the samples of some of the soil samples. When he did his probe,
lead, silver, and copper, he said, were in the samples.
Yeah. The copper and the silver were from the XRF, and the lead was from the soil samples that they've taken out. That's all we've seen. So we're hoping that someday we'll get to see more on that.
Yeah, we saw a bunch of bags of dirt.
Yeah, lots of bags lots of Ziploc baggies went out of the place. So hopefully we'll find out more about that coming up. But this right here, folks, and this is the thing that is really just intriguing me to no end, is the layout of these stones. you know, it has been mentioned at one point that one side looks a little bit different than the other side when you're looking at this. The I'm going to call it the cradle. I don't know what else to call it, but the rock cradle that's down there. Looking at how these stones are laid out, but it's a little different on one side than the other. And then there was the talk on this particular episode last night about how Rick had mentioned this boulder right here, this big one that's right here in the end. That I swear, when I zoomed in on it, I could thank you, Rob Doak. I appreciate that very much.
The cross, right?
I saw some stuff on this, but I don't know. We haven't heard any analysis of it yet. And it's just me in my mind trying to, you know, oh, that cloud looks like a rabbit, you know, that, you know, it's like, I know that I'm probably not really seeing anything on here. Certainly haven't talked about it on the show yet, but it was mentioned. Matter of fact, Fiona, you have mentioned that there were two other boulders. Then the way they were laying with this, it looked like it was they were triangular shaped and looked like they were pointing down. And now this would be on the, I think, south end of it, on the south end of the boulder. But yeah, so that's pretty crazy that these two big boulders would be lying there that they've removed. And then this one there as well. It has to mean something. It has to be, I think, in my mind, I'm thinking this is part of somebody telling you something with all of this stuff, but we'll see as we go along. There's much more that's more important than that. And you guys can jump in at any moment if you have something you want to say with this too. But we're going to bring up Zena because she, and we've talked about this in the last couple of episodes as well about this boulder and where it is positioned according to Zena's maps that she had. Now, this, of course, is a map of Nova Scotia that she had. And this is the one that we are saying was just simply hand drawn from a copy or from memory or something like that of somebody, but drew this particular map. And it's been deciphered that right where in the air, let me just say, in the area of where the boulder is on lot 8, it happens to be this little marker here from her map that says the December triangle or the God triangle.
I mean, people have to remember this is a hand-drawn facsimile, right?
Yep.
We're not talking GPS coordinates. We're talking somebody's hand-drawn interpretation, probably not even a cartographer. Came up with this map, stole a copy of it, whatever. And 5 years ago, we're all sitting around looking at this map going, yeah, well, you know, maybe Zena, you know, does she know what she's talking about or not? The more we look at it, the more you look back, the more it's like, hey, this thing fits.
Yeah. Yep.
And remember, she was deceased before we discovered this.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. And things that are being found on the island that correlate to spots on the map were not known about. If this map was, say, drawn back in 1960 or 1970 and somebody just threw it together, or even 1980, 1990, the spots that they weren't known back then.
That's some pretty lucky guesses if they did.
Right. I was going to say they're the luckiest forgers ever.
Yeah. So that's why I'm still holding credence to this map that, you know, Marty still says Zena's map, if true, well, you have to say that because we don't know. But boy, oh boy, the more we get into this, more we're finding stuff that make this map real. But the December triangle, and it happens to be right about where this boulder is. And you guys saw, and don't comment on this, Fiona, because we know we're not there yet. But we saw what looks to be like a triangle on the back or on the top of it. I don't know. We don't know yet if that's really what that was, but it kind of looks like a triangle on the top of it. So why would that be there? I don't know. Interesting as we go along. But here is the really big part of last night's episode, I think, right here is this blue clay, or the bluish grayish clay that was found down here in the bottom. As you remove the rocks out of here and you're finding this clay and this stuff, they're talking about it may be a match to lot 5 and it may be a match to what was found in the money pit. Now it hasn't been analyzed yet by Emma. Go ahead.
Swamp, charcoal, clay. I'm thinking swamp. That the stone path that Ian Spooner found charcoal, and it's not far from the eye where we know there's clay. So that's what I thought.
Yeah.
I would add that to the. I mean, the lot
Add
5
that
and
to
money
the
are
checklist,
definitely
yeah,
more
for
compelling.
sure.
But for me, I thought, okay, what about the swamp too? Because they
Yeah.
found charcoal there, and they haven't explained, where that came from.
Right. Yeah.
I would say the only thing I will say about this is that it would not be normal to find charcoal mixed in with clay.
No.
Yeah.
It would be one or the other. So that was, that's important just as a separate entity.
Yeah. Yeah. That really, when that was mentioned on the show last night, chunks of charcoal in the clay, I was like, wait a minute, why is that? Because when you were putting the camera underneath there, Tom and I saw what looked like slag or some sort of a remnant of something burning in there, and we thought, oh my gosh, what is all that? And of course, that hasn't been analyzed yet. We don't know, but then to find this down there is, to me, is remarkable. And knowing that clay had been used as maybe a sealant to seal water out, or I don't know, all the different applications.
It could be also used to protect what's inside, right?
Yep, exactly. So I think this is a big deal. I really do. And again, I wasn't expecting them to find that down there, but yet there it is. And to go take this a little further, this was just a little scan of. I mean, look at this, folks.
That blows your mind right there.
That absolutely blows my mind that somebody went through all the trouble to make this rock cradle down there for that boulder to sit in. And I think that Rick actually made the comment last night saying that if that boulder, because we saw that piece of chain that was found about 50 yards in front of it, or that Gary found metal detecting, that maybe they had pulled it into place.
Right.
And then Rick made the comment that if it had been pulled into place, it probably would have destroyed this cradle trying to get it there, a 40-ton boulder. So I'm still trying to wrap my brain around how did they make this happen?
And they lifted it out so easily too. I mean, I know we were like worried about it, but it was like no resistance. It speaks to how compact and
it wasn't
sealed this all is.
And just so you know, Fiona, they aired your comment last night that you really didn't care how the boulder got there. You really wanted to know what was going on underneath it.
Yeah. Why? What and why?
Yeah.
Not how. The how is important too. But.
Yeah, how they could have accomplished such a feat. The one thing that I'm really looking forward to as we go along in all of this is if we can get some sort of a date on this. And I know that, again, we haven't seen any of the analysis on the soils or any of that kind of stuff. We have no date, no idea at this point, except that you had said on the show that you was probably pre-1700s. But again, we haven't seen any analysis on that. So this... I mean, what an undertaking. I mean, it would have been for somebody back then to try to get this thing in that hole. And why? What was the purpose behind it? This is huge, folks. I mean, it
really is.
Yeah. And it would be hard to do, with, where you're close to all the resources, much less like Laird said on the show, where it's like, you're in the middle of nowhere. Like back when this was done, like, what are you doing here for all this work for what? All this manpower and time and effort. It's extremely important, this is more than just treasure, right? Like, I don't know.
And think about where it is in relation to the lots. Like if you were to look on the map, where exactly it is it by the water? Is it by Center Road? Is it in the middle? And it's in the middle.
Yeah,
it's interesting. Just the location gives you extra information too.
Yeah, and I know when we were on the tram, and we pulled up, and they stopped right there on where the road was made to go back to this thing for the crane, and they said, Carmen and Danny Henniger were like, okay, no pictures. You can take no pictures of lot 8. That's lot 8. No pictures can. And of course, I'm looking down lot 8. I'm looking to see what's going on. I'm like, oh my gosh, why can't we take pictures? What's happening over there? And you could not see it. We saw the road that was made for the crane, but we could not see anything down there. So I'm like, oh man, we're going to have to wait for the show to find out what's going on. And then as soon as this boulder was found and they started the archaeology work around it, I thought, that's it. That's it. Got to be what it was. And turns out I was right on that. But I wanted to make that comment that I had posted up there just for a second. European. Betty Allen had mentioned European. That too was the part where, and I was incorrect on it earlier when I was saying where Marty was talking about everybody, all the experts being on the same page, and it was when you all mentioned it was definitely European. You agreed, Laird agreed. So he's like, oh my gosh, everybody's agreeing. So so European. Oh boy, we'll find out, won't we? So much more to learn on this thing. I know I got a lot of pictures of it here, but this is really interesting. And this was the portion in the front where everybody initially, this is where everybody was getting down and putting the camera underneath. And of course, Fiona is sitting in the spot that was underneath the boulder, really underneath.
You putting pictures up there now, Jeff?
Oh, should I put the picture up? Oh, thank you.
Well,
that picture there.
It's a judgment call, really, but
they have to remind me sometimes because I'm looking over here on my other screen at it. So, but anyway, so there's Fiona sitting in the spot where the boulder was, and this front part over here was where they were looking underneath it with the camera. And that sealant, remember that sealant is something that was talked about finding from the people that found the original money pit. They were digging down and they got down to the 40-foot level. There's a report that says that they found this bluish gray clay spread across the oak logs that were down there at the 40-foot level, sealing it off. Again, for what purpose? Keep water out, whatever. I don't know, but that was reportedly found there. So this right here, though, I mean, and what we see Rick doing later, it looks like cement. And it looks like these things have been cemented in there. Laird was down there when Rick came back, and he said under those rocks we're getting organics. I guess this is down, he's digging down below that layer of rocks. I don't know how many layers were down there, but he's talking about finding organics. Now, I don't know if that's kind of something that can be dated or not, but Tom, what do you think? I mean, is that?
I don't know why they couldn't. I mean, if they can date, well, it depends on what type of organic it is, I guess.
Yeah.
It's
nice when Ian found the sticks in between rocks, then you can use that for dating purposes. But underneath it, I don't know if that would really.
There was one shot there where it actually showed where Laird was digging that out, and he said we've got organics, and you could see actually a stick or a root. I don't think it was a root; it's too deep for roots, but something was hanging there.
Yeah, when it comes to the organics, especially it depends on what we're going to do with them, because we will look at organics for various reasons. We might be wanting to do like flotation soil things to look for anything, minerals, seeds, whatever you might find, or there's so many different things that we do with it all. Oh, sorry, I'm going to lose my chain of thought. I don't want to.
Oh, no. I was just looking at Kat's comment here. Go ahead and put that back. Yeah, thank you, Linda. Do you actually have a sample of that clay found in the money pit? Do you know for sure that it matches lot 5 and lot 8? We haven't seen that analysis yet.
That's not out yet.
Yeah, we can't really comment on that, or she can't really comment on that yet. But there have been soil samples matching already from lot 5 to the swamp in the money pit, if I remember that correctly. So
I think the only thing I would say, just in regards to clay or anything that we find on the island, the one thing that you need to keep in mind is that the whole island itself has a geological fault line that runs in the middle of it, almost right through the swamp. So geologically, a lot of what we get mineralogically is very different on the side where the money pit is versus the rest of the island. So sometimes when we're looking at clays or different soils, we do a lot of comparisons because if it doesn't come from one side, how did it get there? So we look at that type of thing. So we often do soil tests for that reason alone too.
Yeah. That's fantastic information. Yeah, there's been I see people commenting about that fault line. That was something that Jeremy Church talked about too when he was on the podcast, talking when he and Ian Spooner as well, about how the two different drumlins are so different from one another, that the western drumlin is slate, a lot of slate and whatnot, and then the eastern drumlin is more glacial till and all of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Well, it's so cool to hear how, the archaeology team is aware of that and uses that to your advantage to help you figure out the story. Because like you said, well, we know this soil shouldn't be here. So how and why? And that's so cool.
And again, it helps because we all have little different areas of expertise. And when Moya was working with us on season 11, she had a lot of geology background. I do too. Mine's just a little different. So we're able to kind of bring in different elements from other areas to kind of piece it all together. It helps.
Yeah, for sure. This is the picture here, Tom, where you were talking about that stick in there. So that might be something that is important. This is when Rick was looking at the material that he was finding kind of in between some of these rocks. He was digging out some of this material. And I'm going to back up a couple pictures here because he was really working on this stuff. But he pulled out some of that. Here's some more stuff that Laird was bringing out with organics in it, dirt around this particular rock right here. But Rick got down in that hole because Laird was talking about this particular rock, and he was unable to move it easily. So then Rick was like, "Well, let me get down there and and have a go at it." And you saw him straining right here, jerking on this thing, trying to pop that rock out of that hole. Now, we don't know how much of that rock is under the soil, but honestly, it doesn't look like much. If you look at that rock, it doesn't look like it's all that big.
She's stuck.
But it is stuck. And is it possible that it is stuck? It's been concreted in to that spot along with some of these others. I'm going to say, just in speculation, folks, because we don't know, we haven't seen the analysis on this. I'm going to say yes, that these rocks have been concreted in there in some sort of an ancient concrete.
Yeah, I was thinking the other day, like when you look at that, you think, I don't know if anybody's ever dug a well or had to dig a well through what we call over here a hard pan. It's a very dense substance. Rocks get embedded in it, and the only way you're going to break through it to remove the rocks to dig your well is to actually use a big bar and break your way through it. But that's not hard pan, not the hard pan I know. That's a totally different foreign substance to the area. That's like a concrete to me.
Yeah.
And if it is concrete, they can figure out the recipe in the lab, right? And kind of date it from there.
Yeah. I mean, I
say recipe. I don't know if that's the right word, but like
it is.
Yeah, it is.
When I visited,
you make concrete, you make it by recipe.
When I visited the ancient Puebloan site at Mesa Verde in Colorado, they had a bunch of bricks out because they were trying to figure out, the recipe that the ancient Puebloans used. And they, as far as I knew back then, when I visited, they still hadn't quite figured it out. Which is fascinating that we could still be confused by, what they did hundreds of years ago.
Yeah, they figured out a way to adhere things together to make adobe. I mean, they, all the years, adobe bricks and stuff like that they've used over the years. And here you got, ancient Rome came up with a concrete type mixture recipe. And it's
mixture is the right word, I think.
Yeah, over the years. But here you see, Rick is over here and he's crushing it up in his hand, making a powder, and then he got a little bit of water from Jack and puts it in the dustpan there, and he's mixing it around, and sure enough, he's coming up with like a mortar type material out of this. Now, again,
looks like it to me.
Yeah, me too. I'm on board with it. I mean, we haven't seen the analysis of it yet, but man, yeah.
I don't know, because if you go back to the Becker drill program back 1967, they came up with what they thought was concrete from like 200 feet underground. Okay, and it was sent away. Canada Lafarge looked at it, and they said it was concrete they thought was made either consistent with that being made in the 15 and 1600s.
Yeah, it's moist. I tell you,
there's concrete on the island that old, but no question in my mind.
Yeah, yeah, and I see a few people jumping on here too. Cement would make it mortared stonework, Jeff. Yeah, I lay stone. Yeah, so thank you, VTA boot, Vita boot. But yeah, you're right. It's been mortared, and it's more of a mortar material than it is a concrete. But yeah, but it's a mortar type mixture. It sure looks like to me. And if you see Rick yanking on that, I mean, he was down there really jerking on that thing, and he could not budge it. And he said, "I really want that rock out of here now." That's what he said.
Thinking a lot, wouldn't it only make sense if you're going to try and support a huge boulder like that you would build a mortar concrete wall to support it?
Yeah. Here, look at this, and this is one of the other pictures that I have to show here because again, you're looking at this right here. Look at that stuff. That's not natural. That's all been placed and mortared into place.
It's a different color to everything around it too.
Yeah. I find this extremely interesting. I really do. And yeah, lots of mortar in medieval Europe construction. Yep. Thank you, David Henderson. Appreciate that. Yeah. So this, I mean, some people have come back, and I know in the chat, after the show is over and stuff, they're there's going to be it's going to be a grave. Well, I guess there have been cases where there's been graves that have made similar to this, I suppose, over in Europe. But somebody was saying that they've seen them. Well, maybe so. I mean, if they find bones underneath all that stone or something, that's one thing. But
yeah, well, what's behind door number 1?
Right. Don't know.
Right. So,
but even if it is a grave, okay, let's just say just throw that out there for a second. If it is a grave, it had to be somebody very, very important to go through all this trouble. It wouldn't just be, a regular old person, average Joe or whatever that was buried there. It had to be an important person because why would you go through all that trouble, right? So, but yeah, I agree with Navy Dogs there. Grave would be interesting too.
Very interesting.
It would bring up a lot of interesting possibilities of who and when. That's the big thing I want to know is when. And what's under this thing for sure.
Well, once you nail down the when, you can kind of zero in on the who, right?
Yeah. I hope so.
Well, it's my fear is that it will keep us from getting under it this season.
It might.
Because I'm like, okay, well, how do you? I mean, I don't know how. I mean, people definitely a lot smarter than me could figure it out. But how do you get through this without breaking it?
You don't want to go in there with sledgehammers and.
Well, Laird said on the show last night they wanted to dig all the way to the bottom and then start removing on the way up to figure out how it was constructed.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
You generally do that with every site. There's always a bit of deconstruction involved to a degree, which I hate because I like to keep everything intact.
Yeah,
you can't always.
Well, no, I mean you got to figure out what's going on, right? So some destruction has to happen.
Yep. And I wanted to remind everybody too that if you realize that here we are, we're talking about the Lot 8 Boulder, and Fiona hasn't been saying much. It's because we don't want her to, because I don't want her to accidentally say too much. So yeah, so she was gracious enough to come on the show here with us today. What we do.
Yeah, and she gets to listen to us ramble and think, what a bunch of idiots.
Right. Yeah.
I find it fascinating.
Thinking, they're so way off. They're so way off. But again, I don't think it's possible to be so way off looking at this right here. I mean, you can see the mortar material in there holding these together. I mean,
yeah. I mean, like David Henderson asked, okay, thank you. Yeah. Do you try to reassemble it when done? Because it seems like such a shame to take it apart and not have it. It's been there for, I don't know, hundreds of years possibly. And I know the mystery. I would, sorry, I'm rambling, but I would want the answer and the question answered, but also, yeah, like how do you preserve that? If you are going to take it apart, do you put it back together? Just present it as it once was?
Yeah. I don't know with that many pieces of rock. Look at this picture here. I don't know if there is a chance of putting it back together. I mean, not in exactly the same way it was taken apart.
Right.
Well, but it's, high definition photos and those laser scans they can do now. You can preserve it digitally.
Yeah. It'd be preserved digitally.
So what is it that Pete Kelsey does? Photo to. He did it on Alcatraz.
Yeah. Oh, that was his LiDAR.
Yes. Oh, okay.
He LiDAR'd the entire Alcatraz prison, and what they're doing is
in 3D.
He'll go back every so often. He'll go back and do it again because they're wanting to see what the ocean and the winds and the salt spray and all that kind of stuff is doing to the island itself and to the prison walls and everything. So LiDAR and photogrammetry, yeah. So he's that's what he'll be going back and doing that some more. And I've said, I know there's LiDAR of the island. I know there's been LiDAR done of the island, but I'd love to see Pete Kelsey go back and LiDAR that whole thing again. by hand, and with the drone, and go around in certain spots with his handheld slam scanner and do that again. So that's a guy who's been out on Skinwalker Ranch, and he's done a lot of LiDAR work.
Yeah, and the photogrammetry is really cool too, because you really get this. You can really explore and get into detail, like a 3D map picture. I don't know. I'm explaining it awful, but it's fascinating.
We do 3D models of things. So that's not uncommon to pick a site and because we do a lot of drone shots, and we do 3D drone shots so that we can actually make samples that we can sit on our desk to look at when we're analyzing things. It's actually really cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that's part of the process that we don't really see. There's so much that goes on, folks, and that's what I was saying earlier about stuff that happens on the island that we never see. We don't see it as part of the program. We only get 42 minutes every hour. Out of every hour, we get 42 minutes once a week, and that's there's so much that they can't take the time to show us. But
we're doing 10-hour days.
Oh, man.
Wow,
I know that's got to be grueling.
And it's all wound up into 42 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So here you get one last look at the way it left off on the episode last night. You can see where it looks like they're starting to get down to some more natural material down here in the bottom, and with organics in it, as Laird was saying, but also this whole mortared area around here. It kind of looks like it up here on this end too. So again, this is going to be how deep is it from yeah, that's a good question. How deep from the flat surface down in the bottom do you say that is, Fiona? Do you know?
Yeah, if right in front, I guess I can't point because you won't see, but at the very south end, where you were talking about that mortar area, if I was standing on the bottom, right at the bottom, it was 4'10", right feet up, and that's just from that area exactly right where you're pointing. That was 4'10" up just to where the soil line started.
Wow.
And then you got another 3-4 feet after that. So it's probably it's big.
It's a hole.
Big and deep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, can't wait to see what's under that thing. Man, oh man. That's going to be, this is again, I know I've been hyping it up a lot, talking about this, but man, this is so cool.
It's a significant find. There's no way around it.
It is a major find. Yeah, for sure. All right. Okay. So the last part of it, we're going to jump over to the war room, and we are going to see them talking with Charlotte Wheatley. And Charlotte was, I think we first saw her with Corian. Her and Corian were over in the UK looking at some stuff and doing some research. She is a researcher, of course. And we are going to, I was actually talking with her today, and she is going to come on the podcast at some point. We might, because of the constraints of where she is and time-wise, we may have to do a recorded session. But we have talked about this, and we're going to put something together because, as we have mentioned already, it's so hard to get the whole story, because we see them come in the war room and present. They're in there for hours, but we see about 6-7 minutes of it.
Exactly. Yep.
And, and so it's hard to really get a good feel for the entirety of the research that she has done. She's been working with Emiliano. I'd love to get him on the podcast sometime too. But they're going back. She was a researcher working on Xena's map as well. Some of the original documents that were that Xena had. And one of the things that she keyed in on was down here at the very bottom. You see it down here, and I'm not going to try to pronounce this, but it says of Talmont. That's the only part I don't read French. So I something about the lion cub of, I think it was called the lion cub of Talmont, if I got that right.
Yeah.
Okay, so the lion cub of Talmont, and she started looking at these churches. Now, this is one of those areas where, especially, I need a little help with this because I don't really completely understand it. Same thing when you get Professor Gaspani talking about the star alignments and how things line up with on the ground as above, so below, and all of that. It's really hard for me to follow all that, but she started talking about these 3 particular churches over in the west coast of France and how they line up. Before she got to that, she was talking about this one here, or some of the churches being a fortified church. So it was being used as a fortress as well as a church. And you see the description talking about it here. Dedicated to the lesser known female saint called Radegonda. Radegunda.
Yeah, she was German, or she was Central Germany, or whatever the kingdom was back then. I forget what it was called.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then she was kidnapped by a Merovingian, became a queen, escaped her husband because he killed her brother, and then she went and became a deaconess and acquired, the piece of the one true cross.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of makes sense why Templars or people associate, in that kind of whatever that philosophy would be kind of interested in her, because she's kind of has a lot of parallels with Mary Magdalene.
Oh wow, there you go. Now that's more than I knew. Thank you for that.
Didn't know.
Yeah. Sorry, I was researching her earlier today. So
what time you started doing that, WTHeck? I mean, come on, man. But these three churches, and this is the part of it that really got me going right here, talking about this, the Sphinx of Talmont. I had no idea that there was anything. I mean, you see this, and it's hard not to recognize a Sphinx in this, isn't it? I mean, it's completely gone now.
There it is now, right? So
I know, and it's sadly it was destroyed in the early 20th century to make way for an industrial port. Why somebody wouldn't have wanted to preserve that, but maybe they didn't think it was a Sphinx. But I mean, look.
Hey, listen, Dunfield blew up the money pit, right? So
yeah, he completely destroyed the money pit. So
back then, I mean, it wasn't considered to be, important,
right?
So
yeah, right. So if they call this the lion cub or the Sphinx, maybe it had something to do with that name in there somewhere. I don't know, but that's pretty remarkable, quite honestly, that Sphinx there. But anyway, she was talking about these three churches and how these three churches are their alignments. And again, and I did a little looking on this myself to try to see what I could find, but how they are aligned, all three of them. And the degrees on these were 292.1 and 292.4 through these three churches. And if you take the line going from the center of the church through the front door and you follow that line all the way across the ocean, it points directly to Oak Island. And I was like, is that possible? I mean, how is that humanly possible that they would even have known that?
And can we know exactly where on the island they point?
Well,
hey, listen, if you can draw a line from that far away and hit Oak Island, you're pretty friggin' close.
Yeah, so
I've got a lot of questions for on how they arrived at this angle, the position of the church.
Yeah,
you're off a couple of feet and go a couple of miles, and you're off by a mile, right? So how they configure it this accurately is
Fiona, do you understand this kind of stuff?
I hear so many theories and so many things. I've read a lot of this, and I think I'm like Laird in the sense that I'm so factually based, evidence wise. Mm-hmm. I try so hard not to over speculate, but you still have to speculate to a point.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I listen to every theory because some of them I've gotten information that has helped with what I think happened on the island. But yeah, this is harder for me to comment on because it's interesting.
Yeah, it is. And we can sit here and we can speculate all we want.
I think we just need to have Charlotte come on and just explain to us how she arrives at her methodology behind this, because you don't see it on the show.
No.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, we got to see just about 6-7 minutes of her giving this explanation. Now, I did go out and I got on Google Earth myself, and I'm going to show you here. And I only could find 2 of the churches because the names are so hard to realize here. But I got on Google Earth and I pulled up 2 of the churches, and I'm going to zoom in here. I know I'm taking some time here to do this, but I think it's important.
This is fun.
They were talking about how you go through the center of the church and and what I did was I just followed the roof line. Okay. So I lined it up with the roof line of the church. That's
Boom.
one of them right there. And the other one is right over here, or one of the other ones. The other one's here in the middle somewhere, and I just couldn't find it. But I went to this one as well. This is the one in Tamont. Okay. Lined it up with the center of the church and going through the open door. And I followed the lines. And sure enough, they come right. And if they're in different places, so they're
they all center on the
they're
same?
60 kilometers apart, right?
Yep. And sure enough, they point right to Oak Island.
So if you're in the know, you go to one of these churches, you look at the alignment, you figure it out with the stars, and then you know where to go from there. Like, is that the idea?
You would have to use this. That's all they had back then.
No idea.
Yeah, celestial navigation was huge. I just wonder if they've taken into consideration the curvature of the Earth in that. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, Google Earth does.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Oh, yeah, that's true. If you use
that. Yeah, and it really does, and it comes right to okay. And you notice where I kind of stopped it at right there in lot 8.
Well, that's interesting.
I don't know if that's, but I just stopped it there just as a reference point.
Well,
I was actually looking for Nolan's Cross, but
yeah, well, that's right. It's right near there too. Yeah.
Yeah. It might be right down the center of Nolan's
Cross.
Right.
I was going to say it could be right down the center of the cross.
Yeah, it's very close. I'll put it that way because Nolan's Cross does sit right about right here on Tom Nolan's property there. So it's pretty close.
Yeah. Crosses over roughly where the stone cairns would be as well.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. It would. I think those are right up in this area, right?
Yeah.
So,
a little to the right. Yeah.
Back over this way.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, that's pretty crazy. So, but we're gonna have her on, and again, like I said, Charlotte and I were talking, and she's gonna probably, because it's like a 5-hour difference. You've seen when we have Corian on from the Netherlands, and he's up at 2 o'clock in the morning to do our podcast. So we'll get her on, but it's probably going to be a recorded session. And Tom and I and Seth, if he's involved in it too, if he wants to be, we'll ask her as many questions. And we also have, we have a spreadsheet. Also, you have to get a hold of either Maya or Christy to send them your questions through our Facebook group. And she will get your questions on the spreadsheet for us when we have Charlotte on. Then I can ask her those questions. So we'll remind you about all that as we get close to that date. But I need a little bit more explanation about the whole star alignment of all that. And I think we're going to get some, because we saw the interpreter for Professor Gaspani in the preview for next week's show, and she was talking about star alignments. So did this tie in with star alignments as well? We'll find out next week, I guess. But again, that's but yeah, so it does take the curvature of the Earth into account for that. But I don't know. But it just boggles my mind to think that back in the times when these churches were built, that they would have even been able to pinpoint something that precisely. Or is it?
I also know how it crossed over Newfoundland as well.
Yeah, it does. Right there. Yep. St. John's goes right through the center of St. John's. Look at that. Ooh. What's in St. John's?
We know anybody doing any exploration up in that area?
We actually do. Yeah.
But we're not going to mention any names. So
we're not going to mention any names, but we do. Yeah, we do. Might see a podcast on that someday in the future. Okay, so let me get out of that. But so wrapping up here, we were talking about the saint here in the 4-dot cross, and I don't know. There's been some people that have come on and said the 4-dot cross doesn't mean what everybody says it means. But then again, there's researchers that are adamant that it's gone down through the line of the Templars. So you see her holding a book It's got the 4-dot cross on it in that picture. And then she's also holding one. You can't see the two bottom ones, but it looks like she's holding something there that has the 4-dot cross on it as well. And we know that when the whole team was overseas in the last few years, that they found many examples of 4-dot crosses on the cave ceilings and in some of the churches over there. So yeah, it's pretty important, the whole 4-dot cross thing. So I don't know. Again, I need a little bit more on that to go ahead. Here's one of them they saw was on the ceiling of one of the caves that they were in. There's the 4-dot cross right there.
Yeah, and the HO stone too,
and the HO stone.
I should have just waited.
No, you led me right into it. Thank you. The HO stone, which I still say this has that crooked. I think if you turn it over, it might actually be an A.
Is it right side up, upside down, sideways?
Flip it over, it looks like it might be an A with the
HO, because that's the way we're used to reading letters, right? So that's the way we place it. But
yeah. I don't know. I wish this was still around. Why they blew it up? There you go, Fiona, right there. Don't blow it up. What are you blowing it up for? You could have got that big boulder out of the lot 8 thing. Just blow it up. It would have,
back then it was just a place where treasure could be, right? Blow it up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm glad you guys are taking a more meticulous way to get through this right now. So this was in the last bit there. They were talking about something much harder to break through than bedrock or concrete. That was a statement made right at the end of the episode last night as they were rolling the credits, as you see there. So what could be much harder to break through than bedrock or concrete?
Steel.
Iron. Yeah. Ghost of Bacon. There he is. Jake Roberts. There he is. He said they understood 3-dimensional geometry when calculating graphical locations. Wow. Geographical locations. How they knew all that stuff, I don't know. But Jake would be the man that would know. That's Jake Roberts. Ghost of Bacon. Check out his podcast because he's always brings the receipts every time. And he's had a couple of great ones lately with John and William on and Gretchen and all those folks. That's been some really good stuff. So check out his podcast. The Ghost
hangs around with a fellow named Bill Smith too sometimes.
Bill Smith,
detriment or not, but
yeah. Bill's a great guy. I had an opportunity to have lunch with him at a restaurant. Is gone now. It was Oh My Cod. I guess
that's such a good place.
It's a truck now or something, right?
It's a food truck now.
Yeah. I loved going to that restaurant, and Oh My God was so good. I tried this when we were up there the last couple of times that we've been up in Nova Scotia. We've gone around to different restaurants, and I've tried everybody's seafood chowder.
Ooh.
And I think Oh My God had the best seafood chowder of all the places we went. Oh my gosh, it was so good. Can't wait. I can't wait to get back in June and have some more. And lobster rolls.
Oh, now I'm hungry.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Midnight snack coming up.
Yes, that's right. Linda, thank you very much. Todd Moore, who we've seen working on Lot 5 in the past, has his own place now, right? Have you been there?
It's a great restaurant, the Stretch Diner outside of Chester. He came from a family of restaurateurs, and he's got a great Italian food background, and he's making a great go of it. It's really nice to see.
That's awesome. Yeah, we're definitely going to check that out when we're up there. I know I let Lorraine know about that so that we could put it into for the attendees that are going this year to Oak Island Convention in June. We've got a sheet of places to go and visit and see and places to eat and all that kind of stuff. And then we're definitely going to be adding Todd's into that. So did you come to Annapolis Valley when you were here? Yes. I believe that's and I'm really trying to remember.
You were there.
Yeah. Carmen Legg, awesome. That guy, he is such a nice man. I tell you what, he has taken Christina and I around. We did go to Annapolis Valley. We actually went up on that ridge.
Blomidon Ridge.
Yes, thank you. And where you look down and you could see where it used to flood, but now it's all farmland down there and everything. I mean, he took us all over to the museum that was over there too. that talked about when the people's, I think it was the French got thrown out and all that. Oh my gosh, there's so much
Expulsion.
history.
Yep.
Acadian expulsion.
Yes, thank you.
That was all in the valley, mostly.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it was such a great guy to have done that. So really appreciate Carmen Legge so very much, and he the things that we got to do with him, and he took us around, even go out and catch some music and stuff too. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, what a great guy. But I tell you, folks, if you get an opportunity to go to Nova Scotia, the people are wonderful. The place itself is wonderful. Getting to see all of Peggy's Cove. I still want to get up to Lewisburg. Haven't been up there yet. Did stay in Lunenburg, and that's a wonderful place as well. And then a little bit in New Brunswick. Haven't Tom needs to take me around more in New Brunswick a little more. But yeah, wonderful people, wonderful place. You will not be sorry if you make an adventure up there to go see Oak Island. Go to some of the other places as well. You'll have an awesome time. Man, just like we've had here tonight. Fiona, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. We have enjoyed every minute of it.
It's been a pleasure. Really.
See, we don't bite. You can come back and join us again anytime you would like.
Okay, I will. Thanks.
All right. Anything else, Tom or Seth, that you want to add?
No, I'm great. Thanks, Fiona. Super to have you on. Jan, thanks for the notes. Terrific as always.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I tell you what, and then talking about the team and the fact that we hit 2.5 million views, it just blows my mind. Yeah. And I tell you, it does take a fantastic team. And Jan works so hard. Christy did it for a little while, doing the synopsis for us there for a bit, but
yes.
That's a hard job to sit there and go through every detail of the show and make a synopsis from it. So thank you so very much, Jan, for doing that hard work. And Linda, all the work you do as well. Appreciate all of you and everybody that tuned in here tonight. We appreciate it. If you like the content of the show we did here for you tonight, please consider giving us a thumbs up and comment and share with your friends. And we appreciate it. And with that, we'll catch you next time right here on the J Free 906 podcast. Good night, everyone. Hang out for just a moment. All right.